You know, America has just been saved from becoming a banana republic, maybe even saved from a near civil war, because the Supreme Court voted unanimously, 9 judges to 0, to strike down an attempt by several states to ban Donald Trump for standing for election as president in November. Ban voters from choosing the most popular candidate. It's unbelievable. Now, these attempts, led by Colorado, were outrageous. They were undemocratic. This is an attempt to ban Trump from the election on the grounds that he supposedly led an insurrection, a crime for which he hasn't even been charged. Now, the Supreme Court said no state had the power to decide for the nation who should be president or not, and what Colorado was trying to do would cause chaos, to put it mildly. Now, Trump welcomed the verdict with a new, more presidential tone.
It was a very important decision. We're very well crafted, and I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together, which our country needs. And they worked long, they worked hard, and frankly, they worked very quickly on something that will be spoken about 100 years from now and 200 years from now. Extremely important. Essentially, you cannot take somebody out of a race because an opponent would like to have it that way. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the leading candidate, whether it was the leading candidate or a candidate that was well down on the totem pole. You cannot take somebody out of a race.
Joining me on Culture Wars is Rowan Dean, editor of The Spectator Australia, which is great. I subscribe to it. And host of Outsiders of Sky News every Sunday at 9 a.m, which is also great because I watch that every Sunday. You should too. Rowan, America's been saved from a coup, I think, by the elites, an effective coup. A ban on Trump that would have destroyed democracy and, I think, caused riots. I think it's a scandal that the case even got this far, but, you know, praise God for small mercies.
Well, I think you're right, Andrew. I think somebody up there seems to like Donald Trump, and he's certainly, things are swinging his way after a long time of them not. What's really fascinating about this, Andrew, so there's 2 really important things that I'll say about this in particular. The first is that the Democrats have tried to throw everything, throw the book, do every trick that they could think of to prevent Donald Trump from running and winning the next election. Now, that has involved 4 separate court cases, 91 charges. And what it has meant over the last few months, and clearly this was the plan, was that basically in America you have your strong Trump supporters, those people who, and I share their conviction, believe Donald Trump to be one of the best presidents the US has ever had, certainly since Ronald Reagan. And I can't wait for him to be president again. And the other side is this complete Trump derangement syndrome. People hate him, Democrats, all sorts of people loathe him, and they will never vote for him. That's not where the election is going to be decided. Those votes are already parked. Where the election is going to be decided is the independent-minded people in the middle, the undecideds, the swinging voters, call them what you want. They're not a huge amount, but whether it's 10 or 15% or whatever, but that is where the election is going to be decided. And the calculation on the part of the Democrats has been, and it's a valid calculation, that if there was enough mud, legal mud being thrown at Donald Trump, this court case, that one, all confusing, all to do with January 6th or files or Stormy Daniels or whatever, just one after the other, that those undecideds who aren't particularly engaged in politics, don't really sit around hanging on what's going on, they're in their own world. They would be turned off at the last moment by the thought, well, here's a presidential candidate, there's all these charges, criminal charges against him, there must be something wrong with the guy, so the vote would go to the Democrats. That was the calculation. But my insight, if you like, Andrew, is that is backfiring. That calculation is backfiring because one by one, these criminal charges and court cases are falling over. The best one is the Fannie Willis thing, which is just its own
Oh, that's so funny.
Story.
That hasn't fallen over.
What is happening?
Oh, so funny.
Looking very unlikely. So we could get to a point, Andrew, where they all fall away, and at that point, the opposite is going to happen. People are going to be thinking, well, hang on, this Donald Trump, he's a bit of a Teflon guy. They throw all this stuff at him, but it doesn't stick. So the votes will come back to him. So I think that's the first miscalculation.
I